How's it going, ladies and gents? My name's Andy, and throughout history we've seen our fair share of crazy and weird fads. From things like sitting on flagpoles, to streaking, to swallowing goldfish. Yeah, that was apparently a thing. There's been a lot of strange fads and trends over the years. In this video, we're gonna take a look at what I believe is the weirdest fad I've ever seen. Phone booth stuffing. So what is phone booth stuffing? Well, it's exactly how it sounds. Cram as many people as you can into a phone booth and then take a picture of everyone in there. Even today, people still do it, although it's nowhere near as mainstream as before. In 1959, this fad became incredibly popular, mainly in the US, UK, and South Africa, and it only lasted for a couple of months. It actually first started in South Africa with college students. On March 20th, 1959 in South Africa, 25 college students went to a YMCA where there was a phone booth nearby, and they were able to stuff themselves into it. All 25 students were able to fit in. Here's a photo that was taken right after they completed the stuffing. The 25 people ranged from the height of 5 foot 4 inches to 6 foot 2 inches, and up until today, it's still the world record for the most number of people stuffed into a phone booth. There's even an entry in the Guinness Book of World Records for it, which is pretty cool. Now, I know some people might ask, well, why don't they just put the smallest, shortest people they find into the booth instead of using people who are over 6 feet tall? Wouldn't that be much easier? Well, not quite. There were some rules for phone booth stuffing as well, which included minimum height requirements, and that kinda differed between different countries. Also, since the people usually have to stuff themselves horizontally, you need someone strong at the bottom, or else they just get crushed and probably die. Which is why all groups consisted of a couple of bigger, stronger guys. Anyway, after the students in South Africa set the record for 25 people in a phone booth, it was all over the news and it spread very quickly to other countries. College students in England, Canada, and the US got involved and they tried to break the record, but unfortunately they all failed. Some students in England started to go on diets to lose weight and try to cram more people into the booths. Other students at MIT tried to implement geometry and calculus to determine the most efficient way to stuff themselves into the booth. And in the midst of all this, there was also a lot of controversy because a lot of people were not sure what the rules were. Some people believed that their entire bodies needed to be inside the booth, while others believed that it was okay if their feet were sticking out. Overall, this trend or fad was a huge mess, but regardless, they still had a lot of fun. In the UK, the students there called the fad telephone booth squash. And at one time, a group of them managed to cram 19 people into one booth. In California, UCLA students were able to stuff 17 or 18 people. MIT students fit 19. Around this time, this fad was all over the newspapers, and apparently everyone who read about it just scratched their heads, cause it was just really weird. At Modesto Junior College in California, the students managed to fit 34 people into the phone booth, and then afterwards, a Canadian school managed to stuff 40 people into a booth. For a short period of time, it seemed like these two schools broke the record of 25 set in South Africa, but there was a lot of suspicion on whether or not they cheated. And it turns out they did. Those two schools used an extra large phone booth that was turned to its side, so it was easier to fit more people. Those two records were of course thrown out the window, and this event caused people to make more rules for the size of the phone booth that they were allowed to use. Later on, they also implemented a rule that a person must be able to make a call within the phone booth in order for it to count. Unfortunately, this fad quickly faded away. By the summer of 1959, just a few months after it started, it already died out. The record of 25 set by the South African students still stand today as the biggest phone booth stuffing in history. Recently, there are still people who want to relive the moment and try to revive the fad, but it's pretty much done at this point. For a very short period of time, it was really popular, but like with most fads, they never last, especially something as ridiculous as this one. And that's all, folks. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed that video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. Peace.